So as I see Stephen's here.
Yeah, great talk, Des. Just before I come to you, I just want to give a shout out for the shirt. It looks familiar. I've got a few of those in my house. That wouldn't be like President or Peak Performance Club from Salesforce in Hawaii by any chance, or is that just you just like that?
I've never been in the President's Club in Salesforce, having never worked for them. But there may be some inspiration though from Mark Benioff somewhere.
Well, that was their loss. That was their loss. Sorry, go on, Des.
I say that the fact that you thought you could guess where that shirt's from says a lot about everyone on this call, I think.
I had to bring it up. You know, that's the courage of the entrepreneur. You know, Des.
Yeah,
I tell you what,
absolutely.
everyone's talking COVID all the time, and there's about 100 questions I could ask you. But just on a lighter note, something I've always been curious about. I remember a Twitter debate once with DHH, who gave a phenomenal talk yesterday, and I know you're an admirer of his, as are your co-founders, and Jason Fried. And there was kind of a big debate, a bit of a hot debate between DHH and Owen, your CEO. I'm sure you know the one. It was a kind of a circuitous conversation because you guys went down the let's augment our business with fundraising, with a la Stripe, Salesforce, and they've taken this very, very Spartan approach. So which is fair enough. Both work and both are totally valid, and you both have a lot in common in terms of your culture. You want that organic growth that you're talking about. You both have beautiful kind of employee cultures, from what I can see. But something that just struck me is that Jason often goes on to podcasts and gives out about VCs, but he's an investor in Intercom. How did that happen?
I think it happened because we spoke to Jason very, very, very early on in Intercom. He emailed to say he thought it was a cool product. He actually posted a tweet initially to say this is a cool product idea. I wish I'd thought of it. And we've sort of spoken, myself and Owen have met with Jason many times over the years. And then when a round was coming together, we just asked him, was he interested? And he said, sure. But I think for him, it was more about like being along for the ride so that he could continue the conversations I guess, I don't think he's somebody who invests with a view towards eventually becoming a venture capitalist. I think it's more like when something interesting is happening, I'd like to be in the mixer. And I think that's all that was. I wouldn't ascribe any more to it than that. But he's like, obviously it goes without saying, he's somebody we all look up to. And I think, I genuinely think he's possibly the single least, most underappreciated person who's had an impact on the largest number of sort of SaaS companies. Full stop, genuinely.
I agree.
As in he's we had him on our podcast a while ago and I was talking about like the Getting Real book that they done. And most founders who've gone public, like let's take Toby from Shopify, would cite the Rails framework, which Shopify is built on, and the DHH. 37 Signals, and the 37 Signals crew, Basecamp, as being an inspiration as to how they got started. And that's like a $60-70 billion company. I actually don't know what the market cap is, but I'm going to assume it's way into high billions. And that's just one example. I bet you there are like hundreds more, and then that's just the public companies. I bet you there's like thousands more privates as well. The impact that company has had on the software industry will be, I believe, underestimated for like decades to come.
Maybe forever. And it's actually, it's great to hear. I think there's people can just wake up in the morning and take the path they want to take. What I like about yourself and the Intercom guys when you talk is that you've maintained your authenticity. You're as if I was sitting here having a cup of coffee with you. And I hope you hold on to that as you scale, because you're going to scale even more now with what's going on. But I think maybe that's a big differential because VC is just a tool after all. It does warp the market a bit, but it's a tool. And I mean, you didn't make the market, you live in it. You've got to do the best you can inside that. But rock on. Keep the authenticity, Des. And
thank you very much.
No worries, you're welcome. And keep the shirt on, Alex.
I will.
Keep the shirt on. It's great. Okay, guys, thank you very much for a brilliant discussion.